Oktoberfest 2024. What was it like? Let's get into it. Hello, welcome to the channel. I hope you're all well. So we've just got back from the Oktoberfest festival in Munich, Germany for 2024. What do we think about it? Well, it was very, very good and very, very entertaining and very eye-opening. So what do I mean by that? Well, first of all, as you can imagine, Oktoberfest is all about, yes, drink, 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 right? Fantastic. The atmosphere in the beer tents, these huge beer tents, is fantastic, especially as the day goes on. You have a few more drinks, people are getting more and more rowdy, having more fun. There's a band playing in there in the center of the tent, let's say, and they're playing sing-along songs, lots of sing-along songs, and people are just getting more and more gregarious. They're having fun, they're dancing on tables, they're standing on chairs, everybody's hugging each other. It's great, but also it can get a little bit rowdy in there, if you know what I mean, as well. A few people taking liberties, but for the most part, what we saw anyway, all good fun, all good natured, and lots of people really friendly as well. You know, and also what you've got to understand is that the beer tents, after about 4 o'clock, lots of the areas, they're sectioned off as reserved areas. So if you're sat in one of those areas, they will push you out, and it's only for the reserved people there as well, because they paid a lot of money to reserve those areas as well. So you have to go into these other areas, which is, let's say, the public area, as it were. But you got to hope that you can find a table. Now, luckily, when we were there, very nice German lads. They explained the situation. They said, look, quickly get a waitress and you can go over there and try and get a seat. And literally we found a seat straight away. But, you know, so if you try and go there after 4 o'clock into one of these public areas, you might not find a seat. It gets very, very busy. And what compounds that is the weather. If the weather starts to rain, and this is what happened on the last day that we were there, then everybody's going to want to go into the tents to get shelter, because there isn't any real shelter anywhere. Everybody's want to go into these beer tents, and there just isn't enough space. In fact, a lot of the security are holding people back just so they couldn't go in. Now, we went during the week. We went on a Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So actually, the crowds weren't too bad. But you could tell by the Thursday and certainly the Friday daytime when we were there as well, before we headed back, it got a lot busier. You could tell it was notably busier. Incidentally, there were kind of people that we saw there, obviously Germans everywhere, of course, right? But lots and lots of Americans walking around. It's really popular with Americans, and lots of Italians walking around as well. Those are the two notable nationalities apart from the Germans. We didn't hear or see many English people there at all, or any other European nationality for that matter. Yeah, a few Spanish and a few French, but that was about it. But mostly Italians and mostly Germans. The Italians is a really interesting thing, because in the middle of Oktoberfest they have this what they call Italian weekend, which they're celebrating all things Italian and the influence on the Bavarian culture as well, I understand. So that's why it attracts Italians from all over Italy, all over Germany, all over Europe, you know, just to descend on Oktoberfest for that very weekend. So we were there just before the Italian weekend, hence why lots of Italians there. But as I say, getting into the beer halls, the beer tents, there must be about 10, 15 of these huge places that hold, 15, 20,000 people in there. I don't know exactly how many, but they're huge. But they get very busy, and trying to find a place there is just insane as well, especially after a certain period. The one thing you've got to be really careful about the beer halls, well, whether you're sat outside in like their beer gardens as well, you've got to be very careful what you're paying as well, because the waitresses that come over and they almost expect you to tip them. So let's just say a big 1 litre jug of beer, it can cost, let's say, 15, 16, 17 euros. Well, that could easily cost you 20, even 25 euros if they don't get you change. Especially later on as it's getting rowdy, you're just handing over your, 20 euros or 30, 40 euros, let's say, especially if you're handing over in a bigger note, then all of a sudden they can just walk off with that and you'll be, left without any change as well. So just watch out for that. They expect the tip. And these waitresses and waiters are earning an absolute fortune there. Absolute fortune, because these tips, they're just getting paid over and over again over the odds. And they kind of expect it as well. But that's for the beer halls. But Oktoberfest isn't just about the beer. I mistakenly said to the customs guy at the airport going in, "Oh, I'm here for the beer festival," and they said, "No, the Oktoberfest." And I went, "Oh yeah, that's it, that's the one." Because it's more than that. In fact, it's less about the beer and it's more about the whole event. It's one huge theme park. It's just like your fairground that you'd have in your local town, and it's just on steroids times 1,000. It must be the size of 30 football pitches, and it's just covered in fairground stuff and stalls, every food that you can think of, mostly German sausage and that kind of stuff, and sweet treats and all this sort of stuff. Lots of little mini bars all over the place where you can have cocktails and everything. But overwhelmingly, it's just a big fairground. It's a massive fairground. The site itself is just so easy to get to. Munich itself is a great city to get around, really clean, no problems with security, never felt threatened at all at any stage, whether it was day or night. Absolutely fantastic. People are walking around for the most part in traditional Bavarian dress. All the girls looking very nice in their sort of dresses in Bavarian attire, and all the guys are all dressed in lederhosen, and they look cool as well. You don't have to dress up, but if you want to get into the spirit of it, of course. But it costs a lot of money to hire those outfits as well if you're in the area. So you have to kind of do this beforehand, or get them from another source, I would say. You don't have to then. It's half and half of people dressed up and people not, I would say. There's no real necessity for you to dress up, and we certainly didn't. And we had a great time as well. But everybody looks really cool. And what I would say about the younger people there, whilst they dress up in their traditional wares, they don't try and doll themselves up too much. It isn't like a fashion parade or anything like that. People look really nice. They look, really, handsome and beautiful, if you want to use those terms, of all ages. But people just look respectable, if you know what I mean. But they look really nice as well. And that kind of coincides with the type of attire it is. But people are having fun, make no mistake. And what I did notice as well, that there wasn't so many young children there. Now, this could have been that it was during the week and school was in session, of course, but there wasn't many young people there. It was, or children, I should say. It was all sort of teenagers or young adults, or adults of all ages as well, which is really good. A really mixed people there. I would say it's just one huge theme park. It was very easy to get around on the trains and on the undergrounds as well. Very easy to walk in and out of the site as well. There was security checks for bags, but it wasn't overbearing, wasn't overwhelming either. Everything looks great. It was just the cost, though. The cost. You've got to be prepared for the cost of Oktoberfest. It is insane at how expensive it is. You're basically just slashing your wrists and let the blood pour out of your wallet, as it were. I mean, that's not a very nice analogy, I assure you. But, it is really expensive. Everything adds up really, really quickly. And the accommodation and hotels, yeah, they charge extra for this time of year as well. But everywhere you go, there's a knock-on effect. Lots of people, what they do, they buy their drinks beforehand, before going in Oktoberfest as well, or they go elsewhere to get some food, then go back in as well. But say maybe that's what we did for a couple of nights as well. Went out and got some food elsewhere, then came back and all that sort of stuff, or got food before we went in, and so on and so forth. But you can spend an absolute fortune there. It's just like festival prices, right? If you just go to a festival anywhere in the world, you're going to pay those festival prices, which are absolutely outrageous by normal standards. But it is what it is, right? But again, if you're only going there for 3 or 4 days, let's say, and it's for the experience, well, hey, it's the experience. You may never experience this again, and it's well worth it. It's well worth it. But as a German friend of mine said before you went, look, you should go and experience it. But once you've experienced it, you'll question whether you have to go there again. And that's probably where I'm at with it. It was a great experience. Really love being in Munich. And I'd love to go back to Munich again, not for the Oktoberfest, just for the city itself, because I think it's a great city. But in terms of Oktoberfest, great fun. But it's just a big overpriced fairground with a few beer halls. That's about it, really. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for all future videos, and I will catch you again in another video coming very soon. Bye now.